Hello, 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 and what is going on, everybody? It is Master of the TDS, and I'm joined by my lovely wife,
WritingRaven.
And we're back for another episode of Psycho-Synopsis.
Indeed.
The segment where we summarize all the Psycho for you. Just a scattering of topics throughout the week, all summarized into one neat little package for you to enjoy and consume at your leisure.
You're welcome.
So we got a bunch of topics to discuss today, including one that's kind of the main topic here.
Indeed.
So without further ado,
let us bring in our first client, live action One Piece.
Not only did Netflix reveal the release date for the, quote, highly anticipated, end quote, live action adaptation of One Piece, they also dropped the first teaser trailer for the series.
With the comments turned off.
Well, that was for the official account, because apparently they do that for many different things. They apparently do it to not have the manga spoiled as well. So we can't rule that out. But
I mean, there's still quote tweets, so it would still get spoiled.
Well, it'd be harder for that. My wife is more of a fan of One Piece than I am. I've seen a little bit of it, and I'm familiar with it.
I'm still catching up on the Wano arc.
I just found the anime a bit too slow.
I think you'd find the manga a lot better.
Nothing wrong with this series. It's not like I don't like it. I just not my cup of tea. But even I knew that there was something weird about it watching the trailer. It does seem like they did try to go for a little bit more realistic towards the manga and towards the anime. And that's good. Definitely when compared to Cowboy Bebop.
When compared to anything else, really.
But there were still some issues, including the one part that I found the most funny was they show him stretching his arm, and it looks like someone put a sticky hand on his hand, like a flesh-colored sticky hand. Yeah,
we laughed. It looked horrendous.
We were watching it all serious up until that point, and then as soon as I saw it, I just burst out laughing.
He did. And I'm like, how did Oda-sama allow this? First, they took away Nami's boobs. Then they took away Usopp's nose. Zoro does not really look like Zoro. He's not nearly buff enough. And Buggy the Clown looks terrifying.
I mean, that's kind of maybe the point, I suppose.
No, he's supposed to be a fool.
Yes, but they're trying to make him live action. So, I mean, look, you can say there are certain creative liberties that people will take with live actions. I'm the kind of person who thinks that we don't need any live actions for any kind of anime ever.
We don't. But one other thing and shout out to Nerdy Girl Creates for bringing this to my attention. Nami's actress is a natural redhead, and they put her in a wig. Why?
Probably because the hair wasn't red enough.
It would have been fine. Just pat her bra, and then it'll be better.
I just think that they don't really care about this stuff. Now, as we mentioned, Oda has mentioned that he is, in charge of stuff, and he won't release it till he feels it's good and whatever. So I do probably think it will be better than any of the live-action animes that Netflix has put out. However, that's a very low bar.
Yeah. And it makes me worried about what they're going to do to Chopper and Frankie when they introduce them. And Robin, and Jinbei, and Brooks, and all the others.
Well, apparently, according to what they're saying, it's only going to be 8 episodes.
And it's only going to cover the East Blue arc.
Money is a thing. They have to be careful with that.
And if you look there, you'll see Colby next to Luffy. He looks even wimpier here than he did in the anime, in my opinion. And his hair is supposed to be pink!
Honestly, he looks like a girl.
Probably being played by one, knowing Netflix. But he is actually a boy.
Well, in this image, he looks like a girl. That might just be because of how we're looking at him.
Also, Luffy's not supposed to have an accent. This guy playing Luffy has an accent. I don't like it.
But don't you know? Luffy, I'm Luffy.
Not that kind of accent, but it's still bad. I don't like it.
I was joking.
I know, but I still don't like it. I love One Piece. I literally was obsessed with it while Master was working on proposing to me, and I didn't give a crap about anything he was doing in preparation because I was too busy watching One Piece.
I mean, she was oblivious, so I could have held up a sign that said, I'm gonna propose to you, and she probably would have just gone, that's nice, I'm gonna watch my anime now.
I literally said, leave me alone, I'm watching anime.
She didn't know it was a surprise, but that's a whole different other story.
But the point is, the anime was One Piece, and because I was enjoying it so much. This, I really don't understand. I understand that Oda-sama is in charge of it in a way, but how did he actually end up approving this? His schedule is way too busy. How did he even have the time to see any of it?
We'll never know how involved he is unless he would come out and say something. I get Cowboy Bebop vibes from this. Again, my wife is more of a fan of this than I am, but even I saw problems with it. And again, I wasn't necessarily looking for them. But as my wife can tell you, when they got to the part where he was stretching, I just started laughing because it looked so unbelievable. Now, keep in mind, it's hard to do stretching effects in pretty much any kind of media.
I mean, Mr. Fantastic was done okay.
It was still also kind of cheesy.
Yeah, but it was still better than this.
Yes. Netflix gonna Netflix? I mean, it's live action, it's Netflix. Do we really even expect with the person involved? Do we really expect any of it to be good?
No.
For all we know, maybe it will turn out to be good. Who knows? It could be. It wouldn't also surprise me if we got an article a year or two down the line from Oda saying how he didn't really have creative control and that he didn't get to see any of it and he's ashamed of it or whatever, just like the person who created Cowboy Bebop said after the Netflix show. He said he watched, I think, a single episode and then he couldn't watch anymore.
Yeah.
No, he said he watched the first 10 minutes and he couldn't watch anymore.
Yeah. Well, Cowboy Bebop was horrendous. And that's another anime I need to finish.
Regardless, maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't be good. If it is good, we will let people know, obviously. But for now, it doesn't look promising, and I just don't see why we can't have adaptations that are, like, accurate. We don't need you to change it. Just make what is shown in the anime or the manga on screen. This applies to anime, too. Anime will sometimes take from the books and change it so drastically that you never understand what's going on. This should be a trend going not just for live action, but for anything. If you're going to adapt something, adapt it correctly or not at all.
What he said. Moving on. And next up, we have Ezra Miller.
This Wendy's had a special.
Time for a light snack.
The Flash star Ezra Miller made their first public appearance since spiraling headfirst into controversy without addressing any of the very real criminal charges and abuse allegations that have been leveled against them.
They had to go with them.
Whatever. We don't really care about the pronouns, and if you don't like it, someone seemed to not be happy about it in our last video, that's fine. We're making it very clear that it's just very confusing, and we're just not going to keep up with it because of other things we've heard. Now, I want to clarify. There's been a lot of stuff going around about how Ezra's been cleared of charges and that someone did research, whatever. Yet, when you take a close look at the research, it doesn't hold up.
Nope.
And I've taken a look at the research before anybody gets mad. I've taken a look, and if anything, let's even say it was 100% true, he would still have 2 charges.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, Johnny Depp didn't have any charges, just allegations. They dropped him from everything. If he even has allegations, why doesn't he get dropped? Oh, wait, because money, and because...
And because Diversity Shield.
Exactly. The reason that we have Ezra microwaving a small child is because apparently in the Flash movie, spoiler for anybody who cares,
there was a point in which a hospital came crumbling down and the newborn nursery all the babies in the nursery ended up falling out of a window.
The CGI bouncy looking babies.
To quote CinemaSins, creepy CGI baby is creepy. And he saved one of them by putting it in a microwave after microwaving a burrito. That baby should be dead.
Yeah, Ezra, that was probably not the best move.
Especially for Ezra Miller.
Whatever. This movie actually is not doing very well. It actually will not be even getting close to breaking even, which, to be fair, I kind of feel like Warner Brothers was kind of aware of.
I mean, they're the ones who decided to put the movie out.
If I was them, I honestly would have just dumped it on Max and been done with it.
Couldn't they just have kept the name HBO Max? It's less confusing that way.
Yeah, it would have been less confusing. I actually think HBO Max sounds better. Or just gone with HBO. Or HBO X or something. I don't know.
H-Box?
Whatever. Regardless, we haven't gone and seen this film. We have no plans to see it. We've heard from people who have seen it. And one of the main criticisms has been the CGI rather than Ezra himself. People do say he's very annoying in this. And there's apparently shots of him not wearing any clothes. And you get views of his like lingering shots of his backside, which nobody wants.
No one.
Hey, Hollywood, I know that maybe you guys have gotten a chance to see that backside quite often, but we don't need it for refresher, thanks.
No, not at all.
This movie's not going to do great. It's not tracking well. It's not making the money back that it needs to. And quite frankly, I feel like Warner Brothers just kind of wrote it off at this point. It was never going to make the money back with all the reshoots and whatever. And it apparently some of the CGI doesn't even look finished. And some of the things they do is just very weird. The DCU is going to be rebooted anyways. So I think the next is Blue Beetle.
Yeah. But we all knew this movie wasn't going to do well. Even if the trailer looked promising, people are not going to go see it.
Purely because of Ezra Miller, and also because if you watch the trailer, the CGI looked terrible, and why would you want to go see that?
I certainly wouldn't. I prefer to give my money to something worthwhile.
Yeah. Anyways, that's enough about Ezra. We're going to kind of move on, but we'll, report on this more if anything comes up. But right now, I get people out there are pro Ezra now and saying, he was framed, whatever, and that can very well be true. However, the research I have seen and done on my own does not support this, does not hold up under scrutiny, and so even if it did, it still would be a question of how he gets to have everything, and other people do not.
What he said. Moving on. And speaking of DC, next up we have Gotham Knights.
After the CW series Gotham Knight was canceled after just one season, the showrunners have revealed that there is practically no hope for a series continuation because no one wants to pick it up.
Not at all surprising.
They literally wrote a whole thing basically saying, and I'm sure the 10 people on Twitter who are upset about it are upset about it. And I actually grabbed a couple here to show because I thought they were quite funny. One of my favorites is, I wonder if a physical copy of Gotham Knights will be made. I want to hold my new babies in my hands. I want episode commentaries. I want deleted things and blooper reels.
No.
Hate to break it to you, nobody cares.
Literally no one. It's never going to happen.
Should have consulted anyone with a functioning brain on whether or not Gotham Knights deserve renewal. I can't wait to see you crash and burn.
CW's already crashing and burning. They have been since their inception.
And during Pride Month?
No one cares about Pride Month!
Pride Month is not this magical shield that prevents things from happening. If something isn't making money and they need to go with what's making money, spoiler alert, they go with what's making money. This show was not making money. It was god-awful. You know it's bad when certain people who review the show and have reviewed the entire Batwoman did not review this.
Well, stopped maybe halfway through.
Exactly. You know it's bad when they stop reviewing it because it's just so bad. No one was surprised. It's not going to get picked up. Hopefully this is the last we see of the Batwoman writer's room, which blocked me on Twitter because I called them out on being idiots, and they actually responded and then ran away like little babies.
Like just about everyone on Twitter.
Yeah. But regardless, not surprised. Nobody cares. The people who did enjoy this, I don't know how you enjoyed it, but if you did, it will always be available online. And I mean, if all you cared about was the LGBTQ romances, that's not a reason to keep a show alive, especially during Pride Month. So maybe swallow what little pride you have left and just move on.
Yeah, what he said. Moving on. And speaking of Pride Month, blech, we have Into the Spider-Verse.
The United Arab Emirates and several Middle Eastern countries have banned the latest Miles Morales film, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, due to the trans flag that briefly appears in the movie.
And no one with a brain was surprised.
Unless, of course, you're Twitter, in which case, it's a hate crime.
Oh boy, you want to read some of them?
During Pride Month?
Why a month? Why is it a month when everything else is just a day?
Again, Pride Month is not this magical shield that prevents things from happening because you decided it. This makes me extremely upset. It's 2023. Come on.
Cultural differences.
Saudi Arabia when performing medieval-level executions on someone for breaking a religious rule. Party, party, party. Saudi Arabia when a flag is in a spider movie for less than a frame. Anger, 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 anger.
You guys do realize that everything that you love about Pride Month is illegal in those countries?
Oh no, we had people actually, I don't have them here, but we actually had some people, you can go on Twitter and check if you want, but we had some people who were actually saying like, love to the LGBTQ plus Arabs or whatever. I'm sure there are somewhere. But it's not something that's celebrated. There's no Pride Month there because it's not allowed in the religion. So stop deluding yourself. It's just how it is. Going, attack these stations instead of the home front. Order out.
That's inciting violence. Twitter, he's inciting violence.
Oh no, it's only inciting violence when we do it.
Unfortunately.
They can do whatever they want. And if you don't like it, you can either sail the high seas or cope.
I dare any of these crazies to go to the Middle East and try preaching all this stuff there. They wouldn't last a day.
It reminds me of that image that was going around at one point that was like queers for Palestine or whatever.
And someone was like, who wants to tell them?
We're not getting into the political side of things. We're simply saying that, just like you want us to tolerate your quote-unquote religion, which to be fair, it pretty much is a religion.
Yeah, why not try tolerating someone else's?
Because it doesn't suit their agenda, that's why.
Yeah, because their sorry excuses for an existence revolve around all of this, I'll say, degeneracy.
Regardless of how anybody feels, again, if you are part of this group and you feel like you're living your best life and whatever, that's totally fine. Mm-hmm. But if you want other people to respect you, you need to respect them as well. And if you can't do that, then that's a problem. If you want to get annoyed that they're banning the film because it was such a small scene, fine. But getting angry like this does nothing. It does nothing.
It really doesn't.
It just makes you guys look bad, and it makes whatever you're fighting for get set further back, even if you were ever going to achieve what you're fighting for.
Yeah.
Let us know when you figure out what you're fighting for, because I'm sure people would love to know.
That's how you win. You have to actually know what you're fighting for.
If you're fighting for equal rights, they have the right to do exactly what they want to do, just like you have the right to do exactly what you want to do. Food for thought.
Indeed. Shall we move on? And speaking of crazies, next up we have The Little Mermaid.
Despite the failure of the Little Mermaid live-action remake, Disney has decided to greenlight a new animated series based on their race-swapped version of The Little Mermaid, but with the original flounder.
This is gonna bomb.
And as you can see, some people were getting annoyed about it, like, don't tell the 44-year-old white men.
That's racist.
Terrible news for racist guys with a kindergarten reading level.
He probably has a kindergarten reading level.
I love that they said F you to the racists that are doubling down on black Ariel.
Yeah, but look how she has actual red hair. Why couldn't they do that in the actual movie?
Keep in mind, this is a show that neither my wife nor I will ever watch, nor is it something that is even really relevant to us in any way, shape, or form.
No.
However, this just goes to show you that Disney never did this for a legitimate reason. They didn't do it because they found the best actress, whatever. This was planned. This is a planned way of trying to be inclusive when it wasn't before. It's just like what they did with Doctor Who, when they went and made it that the Doctor was originally a brown baby girl, whatever. That whole garbage nonsense. They did it because they were ashamed of their past. Disney is ashamed of their past, and so they're trying to go back and rewrite it, and it's not going to work.
Yeah, and this is going to be a check on the bingo card of it's made to sell toys. Because apparently her tail is supposed to change color with her emotions.
Yeah, they're going to just do that, and again, I'm sure this show will actually do well if it's decent. So I guess we'll see how this goes. I even want to comment about someone forcing their cousin to watch. You shouldn't have to force anybody to watch. It should be interesting on its own, and if it's not, that's a problem. And it's not just because, well, she's black, so let's watch it. No. If it's garbage, it's garbage. Maybe instead of watching it just because the garbage looks like me, great. You look like plastic ocean waste. Congratulations. Now, how about you go on a treadmill or work out a little bit, and maybe you won't look like that.
Sane people don't need to see themselves in fictional characters.
Sane people can see themselves in any kind of character, regardless of skin color. But you guys continue to make it about skin color because it's so important, yet saying that we are the racists for saying, hey, don't change it. If you were so sure that you were in the right, you wouldn't have to get this upset about things like this. And at the same time, you would hear what people have to say. You don't ever want people to give you equal treatment. What you want is to stick it over on the people that you don't like. That's the entire thing.
Well said, my dear. I think we should move on. And speaking of race swapping, next up we have Velma.
My glasses! I can't see without my glasses!
Mindy Kaling can't see at all if she's actually okay with this.
Despite the show being universally panned by anyone who had the misfortune of watching it, Velma has been officially renewed for a season 2 at Max.
Why?
Let's clarify a couple things. People are throwing out there, congratulations guys, you hate watched it and that's why it's getting a second season. No, it's not. The reason it's getting a second season was because the second season was already greenlit when the first season came out.
True.
They have bought a certain amount, and so they had to go forward with it and give more. Now, have we watched it? No. Are we going to watch it? No.
But we did read some comments of people who hated it. My favorite one was, I've been in a wheelchair for decades, and your show was so bad that I actually stood up for the first time to turn the TV off, or something like that.
Yeah. Now, Mindy Kaling has gotten awards and stuff recently, even won by the president. I don't even know why. There's no reason to get mad about this. You see, like, for example, that meme, I made the meme. The reason I made it is because why get mad about something that makes no sense? Why not just find something to laugh about? Having Mindy Kaling on the floor trying to find nose glasses is hilarious.
Yes, it's funny because it suits her so well. She's a clown. She's a literal clown for making this show.
She knew exactly what she was doing, and that's why she made it. But it was never because of hate watchers or whatever. It was literally because they had already ordered it. Do I think that hate watching had something to do with them continuing it and going through with it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we were never a part of the hate watchers.
Never. We're never a part of hate watching to begin with. We don't even go to bad movies to review them because we don't want to give those movies our money. This really should not be getting another season, period, because it's just going to lose them money.
Well, I don't think it will lose the money because I think they already paid for it. So I think that's why they're doing it. I think if they had to pay for another season, I don't think they would have gone ahead with it.
But how much more can they destroy in the next season? Actually bring in the dog and make it a girl?
Don't give them ideas, honey.
I mean, they've already killed Fred's mom. Shall we move on? And last up, we have Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Time for my next victim.
Rest in peace, Lara Croft.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny actress Phoebe Waller-Bridge confirmed she's working on an upcoming Tomb Raider series at Prime Video and revealed what she plans to bring to the series.
Likely feminism and diversity.
Well, yes, she actually mentioned how she's taking inspiration from Indiana Jones and from James Bond. Both franchise, James Bond she ruined, and Indiana Jones she's probably going to ruin based on what we've heard. It's weird. It's almost like she's not good for the franchises they make her part of.
Yeah, why not start your own franchise, Phoebe?
Because that would require effort.
Yeah, and all she really does is tear down the franchises she is put in. Lara Croft is already a badass female character as is, even if they made her start showing less skin.
I don't get why we've gotten to this point where it's not okay to show skin, it's not okay to whatever. Oh, it's not realistic? It is. It's just if you want to be a couch potato and sit around all day long and not exercise, and then you do, that's not realistic. Yeah, you know why it's not realistic? Because you're not the one realistic.
Yeah, it's a fact of life. People are attracted to attractive people. That's why they make video game characters attractive.
We don't want to see the adventures of Dora the Tomb Raider, who's giant and fat and has a magical backpack. You know who I was referencing.
You were referencing the New Warriors person.
The New Warriors.
Yeah.
I forget her name. Snowflake.
But I think it was Trailblazer.
Trailblazer, yeah, Trailblazer. You know, I've been keeping an eye out to see if I can ever get a copy of the New Warriors, because I do know some people, but not enough, obviously, to get it. But I do know there are copies that exist. Whether I'll ever get hands on them. If I ever get a hands on them, we're doing an exclusive video.
Oh, it'll be bad.
You reap what you sow, you keep hiring this person, people fail upward, and we get more garbage. This is not going to turn out well, especially if they make her Laura Croft, which is what I'm hearing they're planning it to do.
Ugh, that'll be terrible.
We'll have to see how the Dial of Destiny does, but I don't think that's going to do well either, so you'll have 2 franchises you've ruined, and that's 3, because there was Solo.
Yeah, she played the robot.
It's weird. It's almost like every franchise you get put in as stupid characters, these shows don't do well. These franchises don't do well. Weird how that works.
Because feminism doesn't work. Moving on. And with that being our last client of the day, it is time for us to reveal the diagnosis of the week.
And I have a great diagnosis for this week.
Do tell.
So the diagnosis for this week is anosognosia.
Please explain.
Anosognosia is a neurological condition where basically it usually happens after strokes. However, it's a condition where it's associated with mental illness and dementia and stuff like that. Basically what it means is it makes them unaware of what's going on, unaware that they're dealing with a problem. So for example, they're unaware of what neurological deficit or condition they're in. Symptoms include lack of awareness and other things like that. It makes things a little difficult, but the primary thing to take away from this is that they don't recognize it. And this is something that Hollywood is facing. It's almost like Hollywood had a stroke at some point. Excuse me for saying that, it's not meant to be offensive. But it's almost like Hollywood had some kind of peak and a stroke at some point, and afterwards it's suffering the effects of what happened, and it doesn't even recognize it. We all point it out, we all say, hey, you're making these same mistakes over and over again, and they're not working, why don't you stop? It's because they have anosognosia. They don't recognize it, and they won't. Unfortunately, it's not something that goes away for them. For other people it does, and that's good, and hopefully people who do have this, recover fully.
Mm-hmm.
But Hollywood has yet to recover, and so that's why I feel this is a great diagnosis for this week.
I agree.
And now we move on to the remedy of the week.
And this week we're sending you to our friend Wookie Fever Presents. He's another friend of ours, another pop culture YouTuber, and I think at one point he also invited us onto a cryptid stream.
He actually does paranormal streams, as he says here. He also used to work as a picture framer. But he does a live stream on Saturday mornings. Fortunately, we can't go on Saturday mornings, but talk about movies, TV shows, comic books, all stuff like that, and paranormal stuff. So if you guys are interested in any of that kind of stuff, I know that we are.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one day we'll actually get to do a collaboration on a day that's not Saturday, because we can't really do it.
All the best things happen on Saturdays.
But yeah, great guy, great friend. He's actually nearing 100 subscribers. I know that it's still low down, but I think we can probably push him over 100 subscribers if a bunch of you go over there, so go check him out.
So grab your cryptid theories, head on over there, and let him know that Gothic Therapy referred you.
Indeed. But that is all we have for this week. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and also make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss your weekly therapy session.
Or you will be charged. But remember, when you do subscribe, your first session is free, so smash those buttons like they're bad kitties. And do consider joining us at the Dusk, Midnight, or Dawn level. We would appreciate it quite a lot. You can also find links to all of our socials in the description below, as well as links to our merch store and our Discord server known as The Clinic. Be sure to check them out. And if you don't want to stick with us here on YouTube, you can also find us on Rumble and Odyssey. And keep an eye out for our upcoming live stream, Watching Birds.
We'll have more news on that going forward. Also, if you guys are interested, I'm now sponsored and now a ambassador of Viter Energy. They're caffeine mints. You'll find a link in the description. They're kosher. They're very good. I use them throughout the day for various things, whether it's work or YouTube. If you use our link down below, we get a 25% commission. If you use code GET10, you can get 10% off. And I believe their 2 flavor variety packs are on sale now for summer sale, 50% off. So if you're curious and you want to support the channel, go check them out.
Yes, please do.
But that's all we have for this week, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Gothic Therapy, out.